Dylan Walsh was doing his best. I'm going to play the same character from Nip Tuck, but I'm going to also try to pretend to be Terry O'Quinn at certain moments. He has that whole moment where he is bashing the for sale sign. You're not Terry O'Quinn. Just stop. Find your own thing, because that is clearly him trying to be that kind of split personality manic shit.
When he gets angry, it's almost one of those things if you were the kids, you'd probably laugh at him.
Yes. I would be like, dude, you suck.
You're like, bruh.
Yeah, you'd be it'd be bra. Welcome to the Cinema Psycho Show, the madhouse for film freaks and film fans of all types. I'm your host, Brian Coddington, joined by my fellow co-host and filmmaker, John Woolscroft.
I thought I told you to get out there and chop that firewood.
Wrong movie.
Wrong.
Wrong movie.
Well, I'm just trying to think like a stepdad, you know.
Well, you're trying to think of good stepdad movies, because this one was not. So we are on episode 400. Yes, episode 400. I might throw in a sound effect here, like a hooray or something like that, explosions, that sort of shit. Who knows? I don't know what I'm going to put in the edit. But yes, we're on episode 400, and this week we are gearing up for Father's Day. And if you've been following the Cinema Psycho shows for at least the past 4 years, you know that we can't let a Father's Day go by without digging up our old friend, the stepfather. And this time we are digging really to the bottom of the fucking barrel, because we're going to be reviewing today Stepfather from 2009. Yes, the remake that no one really asked for. And to help celebrate not just Stepfather 2009, but to help celebrate episode 400, we have with us today a very special guest. We haven't had this guest on in quite a while, and I was glad to get him on. But we have Old Man Brad of the podcast Tomb of Terrors with Old Man Brad. Hey, Brad, how's it going?
It is going very well. And I know, as we talked before, this is my first Stepfather film. I have not seen any of the previous films.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Interesting that you started at the bottom.
I'm starting at the bottom to work my way up.
It can only get better from here.
This one is a very, I'd say, soft. Well, no, it is a remake, but it's not like a Psycho shot-for-shot remake of the first one. They make a couple of tweaks, but if you're so curious, you should actually go back and watch the original one now and be like, oh, hey, they did all this in the 2009 one, but they do it better in this one.
Yeah, they make it better because they did. And
like I said, nowhere but up. And I've heard good things about the original. So
I mean, hell, I'll take the John Boy version in Stepfather 3 a hell of a lot more than this one.
Well, he dresses up like a bunny rabbit in that one, Brian.
Yes, yeah. See, that was my first Stepfather. Was the Stepfather 3, where they just went balls to the wall crazy.
That's because
with it.
You had all the movie channels growing up, isn't it? That's why
I did. Well, I've talked about this before. I had HBO growing up as a kid, so yeah.
Brian, before we jump into
to
the Fathers of Steps,
the Fathers of Steps,
the best way I can describe our 400th episode is that Brian and I got a little busy living our lives. So,
what's that, John?
So normally we do something special for when we hit a round number or something with a 50 on there. So we are going to do that. The best way I can compare this to is when a little kid has his birthday on a Tuesday and he has homework and stuff. So it's like, I'm going to go home and have a piece of cake with my family. But this weekend is when we're really doing my birthday. We're going to Crazy Maisie up in Erie for all my Erie people.
What is Crazy Maisie?
Well, it's when you got too cool for Chuck E. Cheese. And the play area, it's twice the size as the arcade area. So that's what Crazy Maisie was.
Yeah, we had one of those in Cranberry called Safari Sam's.
Okay. Well, I looked for a prop because usually, when we hit these big episodes, I usually bring out the champagne. So I'm like, what can I have as the poor man's, because we're just doing a normal episode. So I looked through the fridge.
Bud Light.
I found this old Bud Light that I don't know how old this Bud Light is. This is the champagne of filling in 400 episodes until later.
Well, I mean, I figured you wasted your champagne. Okay, it's
Not bad,
okay.
not bad. Yeah, it's
Not
fine.
bad.
Yeah.
For audio only audience, John survived the skunk beer. So
it's been in the fridge, so it's good.
Okay, yeah, but I figure you wasted all of your champagne because it was only a couple months ago we hit 10 years.
Yeah.
So where it's the year of milestones here at the Cinema Psycho show.
Well, I feel special that I am on for one of them, and in you guys and myself started podcasting around the same time because I'll hit 10 years as a podcaster later this year.
Yep.
Oh, sweet. Yeah.
Class of 2016, man. That's how it works. But yeah, I mean, I wasn't sure if I wanted to do Stepfather 2009 as our 400th episode because I'm like, shouldn't it be grander? I'm like, this is kind of a terrible movie.
This is Tuesday night with homework and just a piece of cake, Brian.
Oh, I know this is Tuesday night homework and a piece of cake, but I don't know. This is really, when we're talking about piece of cake, we're talking like the terrible icing you get at Giant Eagle cake, the pre-made one. It's been sitting out for a while. It's made with not buttercream icing, but more like that whipped cream icing that tastes like shit that only old people like.
Oh yeah, or dieters.
Kind.
Yeah,
or dieters. Those people. Yeah. It's made with Splenda. It's that
What's
level.
Wrong with the whipped
movie.
cream icing?
I hate the whipped cream icing. Are you a whipped cream icing fan?
I do like it, but I'm also old man Brad, so I guess it fits.
So yeah, Brian, I don't know what to do now because this is it. This is we're out of Stepfathers.
We're out of Stepfathers. I guess it's up to Hollywood or YouTubers who are invading Hollywood to now make another Stepfather movie.
Well, I think next year you could do, instead of Stepfather, how about Father's Day? I've heard that's a good movie.
Do you have a copy that you could show off to our video audience?
I do. Brad? I do have a copy sitting right here.
Yeah. So this is a funny little side tangent. If you want to, you can skip forward a little bit. I'm not going to cut this out. So initially, when we sent Brad our list of episodes we were covering for the year, Brad, obviously he saw Stepfather. I'll take that. But the thing is it wasn't Stepfather on the list. It was Father's Day that was on the list, and that was my bad because I was like, "Oh, we always do a Stepfather." We meant that, but so Brad's like, "Oh, I can't wait to talk about Father's Day." And sure enough, I'm like, "I'm sorry, bud. We gotta burst your bubble."
And then this is what you give me.
I gave you this. I gave you this.
At least it's competently filmed. It's. I'll give it that.
That's the lowest bar of compliment. Well, it's in focus.
At least they put a 22-year-old Amber Heard in a bikini in every scene.
Jesus. I have so many problems with that. Before we get deep into the weeds with it, let me just take a quick moment. If you haven't already done so, please go ahead and follow us wherever you get your podcasts. If you go to cinemapsychoshow.com/follow, you can follow us on your favorite podcast app of choice. And of course, if you're watching us here on YouTube, hey, thank you so much for doing that. Come celebrate 400 episodes with us by subscribing and liking and hitting the little bell, and let us know down in the comments what you thought of Stepfather 2009.
And what kind of cake you're having while they're celebrating with you.
What kind of cake you're eating. I really want to know. It better not be the whipped cream shit.
It better not be my sister's birthday. Katie, if you're listening to this, she liked angel food cake with strawberries.
It's not too bad.
Yeah, but I want chocolate cake with cookies and cream fry. I want something decadent, goddammit.
Okay, fair enough. I want the thing that's going to give me diabetes and a heart attack all in the same go.
Yeah.
All right. So I do want to get to my little pulled from IMDb synopsis done in my movie theater voice. I think this is becoming a constant bit here. So straight from IMDb, this is the synopsis for Stepfather. Michael Harding returns home from military school to find his mother, Susan, happily living with her new boyfriend, David. As Michael and David get to know each other, Michael becomes more and more suspicious of this new guy.
Yeah. Sounds fair.
Yeah, sounds good.
I really hate these IMDb synopses. This isn't telling me shit.
Well, what's interesting is, this movie, just like the original, is an incredibly slow burn. It's kind of for the audience that it's targeting is like probably too slow of a burn. But what I find so odd is that he moves into her house. Doesn't a serial killer want home field advantage? Like, doesn't he probably already have, like, wouldn't he move in and set up a death basement at his new house before he lures in the next victims? Not like, oh, I'm going to see if I can do some. Hopefully she'll let me do some light carpentry in her basement, because if she says no, I don't know where I'm going to hide, body parts and murder weapons and shit like that, and use cell phones. Yeah. Oh, and my tequila.
Well,
but
that's some pretty heavy light carpentry work he did as well. Like, those were some serious cabinets.
Oh yeah, he made, because you have to have the murder cabinets that you lock up.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the one big thing I just want to get out of the way, this is the only Stepfather movie where there isn't a stepfather. Did you all get that? That they never got married.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's not official yet.
Yes.
Yeah.
This
because
he wants called the fiancé.
They live together,
his wife's
and
son to be the best man. Yeah, at the wedding.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So there's no stepfather here. Which
this is the boyfriend living with us.
Yeah, this is
that'd be a great poster. Yeah,
the boyfriend. That's a better movie. The boyfriend living with us, with Dylan Walsh. Okay,
but so the premise is, obviously we start the movie with, the stepfather ending his first life. Well, not his first life, but one of his many lives, having murdered the family. Got to change that identity. But by the way, in the 80s. That made sense because DNA wasn't really a damn thing. But this guy's dropping hair follicles on the sink, blood in the shower. He's not getting away with this. I don't care if he did pay for everything in cash. But anyways, so he goes to move to where he was in Salt Lake, and now he's moving to Oregon, right?
Yeah. Well,
the cop voiceover gave you all this.
Yeah.
When it switched to that, I was like, what? I immediately was like, what am I in for? And I look up and saw the director also did the Prom Night remake, and I'm like,
there you go.
Oh yeah, this guy's a hack for hire. I looked at it.
Well, but I think my whole thing with that first opening sequence, if you even compare it to like, and again, Brad, I know you haven't seen the original, but like the original was really shocking. Like when you see this guy go from, hey, he's just getting out of the shower, he's taking a shave, he's getting a bit. You don't think much of it. And then when we get the whole, like, we pan down and we see all the dead people and covered in blood and viscera. And then we get this one, which I don't know, John, if you thought this, but I thought this was extremely tame in terms of like the reveal that, oh, everyone's dead.
PG-13, brother.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because let's stop and think about what this movie is for a minute. I can't remember the exact year the first one came out, but we're looking at around more than 20 years.
I would say, I think it was 86. 86.
And let's be honest, this isn't to like honor the original film. The studio sat back and said, well, okay, what in each genre do we have still the rights to that a new generation who don't care about the original will go see because they haven't seen it already? And they said, well, we got Stepfather over here. And they're like, okay, let's remake it almost point by point. We'll make a couple of adjustments, a couple characters, and deal with technology. But it'll be for teenagers who just want to go and, get scared and throw their popcorn and maybe try to get laid afterwards. It's not, there's nobody going to it goes, I love the original Stepfather and I want to see what they do with a remake.
I think there's some people who do. I think I think this, like with here, because here's the thing I'm thinking. You don't make a remake of something without thinking I'm going to capture that original audience. That's literally why they make remakes, is so that they can hedge their bets against trying to make anything new.
Well, in 2009, this was like the hot thing too. Of like all these remakes were coming out, whether it was straight to video or just trying to make a quick buck in the theater.
I think it is, though, that Brian, I do think it is that we can remake it because a whole new generation hasn't seen it.
I'm not saying that's not correct. What I'm saying is, if I'm a studio executive, my goal is to make something that requires the least amount of investment on my part to save money for the venture capitalist hedge fund gurus that are in New York who aren't even film people. So if I'm looking at a bunch of IPs and I'm like, you know what, this Stepfather one, I know horror fans are stupid. I don't think that, by the way. I'm thinking the executives think that. And we're going to get either one, yes, new people who've never heard of this concept before, or we're also going to get those weirdos who go to horror film conventions that love Stepfather the original, and they're going to flock to it because, oh, I recognize the Stepfather property, I'm going to go to it. If that, yeah, I mean, that was their MO. That's why they did Friday the 13th. That's why they did Texas Chainsaw. That's why they did A Nightmare on Elm Street. It was because how can we tap into that pre-existing audience and I don't have to spend any more money trying to convince people to go to my movie?
I think there's a big difference between Friday and Nightmare as compared to The Stepfather.
Oh, well, The Stepfather has always been kind of a C tier person.
Yeah.
Well, it was like we see, The Hills Have Eyes. You see these other remakes coming out and they're like, what else? Where are we going to scrape? What else do we got? What can we make? And they're like, yep, Stepfather, prom night.
Sure.
Let's go.
So
let's do the fog.
Let's do the fog. Do we want to talk a little bit about the Stepfather himself before we even get into like the plot? So Dylan Walsh plays the Stepfather in this one. You might say, well, who the hell is that? Well, if you somehow had FX in the early 2000s, you might have watched a little show called Nip Tuck. I know I sure as hell did, which was fucking batshit Looney Tunes looking back on it. And Dylan Walsh played, I would call him the good doctor, the not scumbag doctor, and Dr. McNamara. So, yeah, did you guys watch Nip Tuck back in the day?
No, I knew of it. I never watched it.
I remember
we had FX.
Yeah, I remember seeing like the juicy adverts for it, and like I was young enough. I was like, "Ooh, there might be like pretty ladies." In this.
There are a lot of pretty ladies in that. Yes. My family were all into Nip Tuck. Like, our mom was in a Nip Tuck, my brothers were in Nip Tuck. We were all in a Nip Tuck, and again, like thinking back, I'm like, I was like 14, 15 watching this. Probably shouldn't have been watching this back then, because there were some bizarro, especially later seasons, bizarro storylines that just went off the fucking rails. So, this is, at the time where Dylan Walsh was, I think at the time he was still doing Nip Tuck, or he was at least finishing off like the last couple seasons. And it was right around the same time as his counterpart was doing like Fantastic Four, and he was Dr. Doom.
Dr. Doom, yeah.
Yeah. So this was like his stab at trying to do movies.
I see your Fantastic Four. I'm going Stepfather.
I'm going Stepfather. I'm going to be the Stepfather in the movie. See, you're just Dr. Doom.
Let's make a bet now. I bet they'll make more Stepfather movies than Fantastic Fours.
They set this movie up to do that.
Mm-hmm.
They did. And this is jumping ahead, but like when we see the last little bit, and I'm like, oh, that's cute. You thought you were getting a sequel. You thought that. But yeah, what's your, John, Brad, I'll start with you. What were your thoughts of Dylan Walsh playing the Stepfather in this?
I mean, he was fine. Like everybody, this felt like either a Lifetime movie, or if it came out today, this would be a Tubi original. Like, honestly, it would have went straight to Tubi, and it was one of those you could see TV actors and actors like Amber Heard. It took me half the movie to realize it was her, and then just I mean, he was fine. He wasn't as menacing as I think he needed to be. He was just like, oh, okay.
He was kind of milquetoast.
Yeah,
he was milquetoast. Yeah. John, what about you? What did you think of Dylan Walsh?
Well, Brad, was it when Amber took a dump in the pool? You went, there you are.
Yep, that's what it was. That's what it was. That's when it clicked.
Shit. Amber Heard. She took a dump in the pool.
She went, ain't I a stinker? It's like, oh, it's been her shtick for a long time.
And it all of a sudden clicked, and I was like, that's it.
Yeah. I thought he did a good job of balancing, like you said, Brad, like the lifetime kind of lines that he had to deliver, with like occasionally coming back and being like, talking to the son in the basement, like, yeah, I spent all this time, trying to convince your mom I'm perfect, and like, so I thought he did a good balance given the script he has. So he seems like he's a pretty good actor. It's just, he had a lot of cringy lines, and the whole setup of the movie. Yeah.
I honestly, I'll be the person. I think he stunk.
Okay.
Fucking stunk. And
I thought given what he had, he was fine.
Yeah, but like, how many times have we seen bad movies? Like, we can tell the writing is terrible, but like the actor is doing the best fucking job they can and they make it work. Like, oftentimes when you see those, it's usually like, oh wow, that one part was really good, and it's because that actor was able to polish a turd. And I don't know. I think Dylan Walsh was doing his best. I'm gonna play the same character from Nip Tuck, but I'm gonna also like try to pretend to be Terry O'Quinn at certain moments. Like, he has that whole moment where he is bashing the for sale sign with a hammer because
he screwed up.
Yeah, because he screwed up. And I'm like, you're not Terry O'Quinn. Just stop. Find your own thing, because that is clearly him trying to be that kind of split personality manic shit. Because, Brad, I know you haven't seen the original, but like, that is what Terry O'Quinn does really well as the stepfather. Is he has these moments where he is I gotta love the family, and then kind of splits.
Snaps. Yeah.
And splits the next moment to like, just crazy. And you don't really get that with Dylan Walsh. You get kind of this milquetoast shit that pantomimes Terry O'Quinn.
When he gets angry, it's almost one of those things if you were the kids, you'd probably laugh at him.
Yes. Like I would be like, dude, you suck.
You're like, bruh.
Yeah, you'd be it'd be bra.
Well, what I don't quite understand, and I know his master plan must involve the entire nuclear family, whatever his pathology is, the stepfather, is why not just write out the oldest son? Because he's automatically suspicious of you anyways. Like, maybe just let him go back to the military school and focus on the two young kids who are too naive to see through you, and focus on just killing them. I guess because then the oldest son knows what he looks like. So I think I just answered my own question. But then don't all the friends and family?
They do. Like, yes.
Yeah, all the friends and family know what he looks like. So what difference does it make?
This stepfather is not very smart. Like, I will say, he is not nearly as crafty as the other stepfathers, including John Boy.
John Voight?
John Boy.
John Boy. Okay, yeah.
Not John Voight. That would be a funny version.
That would have been if he's doing Anaconda.
He's got to be the stepfather as the Cajun Creole Anaconda.
I would see that. I would watch that.
I would watch that. I'd watch that over the remake to Anaconda that came out with Jack Black.
So I was trying to predict a couple things from this movie, Brian, and I got it. I think disturbingly to a T when I saw that April O'Neil was in this movie.
Oh my God, I thought that too. I was like, yeah. Fucking April's in this? Where are the turtles at?
For anybody, and she's doing some investigative work as well.
Yeah,
so
that's her problem.
Yeah, is that like I knew? I'm like, so Paige Turco from the second and third Turtles movies, the original run of them. I'm like, okay, she's not too big of a name to be distracted, but she's too big of a name to just be in the background at one of the party scenes. So I turned to Christine. I'm like, she's gonna distrust at first the stepfather, but then he's going to win her over a little bit, but then she's going to get more involved in his life and then start to mistrust him, and that's going to lead down the path of what ended up destroying the stepfather. And the mom to be, which I assume they were already going to be married in this movie, but the mom to be was going to say, why doesn't anyone want me to be happy? And that's exactly what happened in the fucking movie. She even says that. Why doesn't anyone just want me to be happy?
It's like you've seen this script before.
Yeah.
It's almost like if you were to ask ChatGPT, hey, write me a Stepfather movie, this is exactly what you would get.
Then April O'Neil becomes suspicious because he won't sign paperwork. Yeah.
All they needed was Paige Turco to wear like a yellow trench coat, and then it would have been complete.
Oh, that would have been hilarious.
Yeah. So yes, the stepfather kills his first family, and then yes, through the magic of exposition, and again, Brad, you called it out, the weirdest fucking exposition dump
it was so
I've
weird.
ever seen.
What, at the grocery store?
No. Like when the detectives are
sorry. That I
literally
forgot
saying everything
With
they
the
had to set it up for
voiceover,
the
but
audience.
then
Yeah.
the clips, and it was so odd.
It had that Saw-like feel to it. That like
Yeah.
when they're laying everything out and they're doing the flash cuts and stuff.
Except this was at the beginning instead of at the end.
Yeah. Because let's be honest here, it's called someone looked at the movie and said, this doesn't make any fucking sense. Okay, I get it. We'll do some reshoots. We'll throw some voiceover in from detectives and it'll make sense. Okay, fine, whatever.
Yeah. Well, see, Brian, I thought you were talking about when the stepfather seeks his new prey and they're at the store and the kid's like, I want a chocolate bar or something like that. And he's like, oh, you got to let your mom win, son. You got to realize that early on. The woman always wins. Don't upset your mom. I'm like, okay. And this is going to cause her to and then a scene later, she's like, yeah, do you want to put it in me? I've got 2 kids.
Well, not even just that. I mean, let's talk about the big elephant in the room here. At what point does anyone just give their entire fucking life story to a complete fucking stranger that you meet in the grocery store? Like, she literally met this guy and within 5 seconds was like, well, yes, I am recently divorced and I'm a
dinner with me.
Do you want to go to dinner? We're going to get pizza. Do you want pizza, strange man that I just met in the cookie aisle?
Yeah. Well, I think she kind of ran into him at another store as well, because I think he's stalking her.
No, it was
she goes to Michael's on Thursdays.
John, it was another store. It was the parking
It was the same
lot.
parking lot?
It was
Because when she said, if I didn't know any better, I'd swear you're following me. I just assumed that was the parking lot of another store. I'm like,
that
might
might have been a cut scene. It might have been a cut scene, but no, this is
that was in the
parking
DVD
lot.
he watched. He actually watched it.
Oh,
yeah.
All the bonus features and
the 4K restoration, the Criterion collection of this movie.
If this movie gets into a Criterion collection, society's done for.
Vinegar just put out a 4-disc set on it.
Oh, for fuck's sake. But yeah, so very quickly, Susan kind of warms up to Dylan Walsh because he's he's preying on single women. And
by the way, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah,
you,
go ahead.
But okay, I know that getting someone's number is, I'd say, in the last maybe 10 to 12 years. But you think that he wouldn't probably put it in her 2009 phone, which, by the way, the phones were fun. But maybe she would write her thing down on a little piece of paper because it's 09, and they would probably go out to an actual Italian restaurant, not a pizza. You don't just invite a complete stranger to your pizza dinner with your children. That's happening right now.
That's what I'm saying. This is bonkers.
Yeah,
this is bonkers. Like at least in, again, Brad, sorry I'm spoiling it for you. The original, there is a 1 year jump forward in time between when Terry O'Quinn kills his last family and when he is now married with another family. The movie's hey, we ain't got to show you everything. We're just going to cut to the good part where he's actually the stepfather now. So there's at least a year that has gone by in the original that fills in the gaps that, okay, the stepfather has met this person that has a kid, and now they're a family unit. Whereas this one, for some bizarre reason, thinks that we have to have this meet cute moment in the grocery store that doesn't feel fucking natural at all. It just feels creepy.
It's so
Which
they can
is
set up
almost-
the ending.
Yeah.
Here's the next meet cute for the next one.
And it's almost like I just killed the family, and within it's the next day. Oh, I'm gonna you want to come to have pizza, and then
Get pizza with me, strange
6 months
man?
later they're living together.
Yeah, but they're living together, and this is where we're introduced to Susan's eldest son, Michael. You also might know him as what's his face, Joe from the show You, played by Penn Badgley. Do you guys watch the show You at all?
No.
I'm
so far behind on
okay.
shows.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh my god. So You is not the letter U, YOU. But it is a series on Netflix that has had a couple seasons, and it's resoundingly popular because its concept is this man played by Penn Badgley is obsessed with like one woman and kind of like stalks and like ingrains himself in this one woman's like whole life to find love. So like there have been people online who said that The Stepfather is the prequel to the series You.
As you were just explaining that, I was going to ask. So he's become Stepfather.
The Stepfather. Yeah.
It's like Halloween 4 when Michael transforms Jamie,
Yes.
is evil.
Yeah. But like it's kind of funny to see, Penn Badgley on this side of the knife, so to speak, because he is like a really sadistic kind of killer in the show You, and it's very troubling to watch, honestly, but like people love that fucking show.
But yeah, I haven't heard of it.
No, check it out. It's actually really good.
It's a small world after all.
It really is.
You either kill the stepfather or you live long enough to become the stepfather.
Well, that's what happened. He didn't kill the stepfather. This is what happened. But Michael is like a troubled kid. When we talk about kid, he's 25 years old playing a 17-year-old. Because again, it's 2009, and he's come back from military school and is immediately like not really into this new guy that's living with her. Because again, it's not the stepfather; it's just man who's boning my mom.
Boyfriend who lives here.
Yeah.
Well, he has two things on his mind: distrust of stepfather and just raw dog and Amber Heard. That is the only. He's either smooching her, swimming, or distrusting his to-be stepfather.
And in between, swimming more.
Can we talk a little bit about Amber Heard, since we're on the subject? Okay. This movie, my God. This I mean, don't get me wrong, like Amber Heard's whole like outside of film like life is a train fucking wreck. And I don't this episode isn't to necessarily like relitigate that. If you were to ask me, I'd say like both her and Johnny Depp are both fucked up individuals.
Mm-hmm.
And all, but my whole contention is, why the hell is Amber Heard, her only wardrobe in this whole movie is bikinis the whole time?
Who's the audience, Brian?
Yeah,
I get that, but I'm just making a point, like no clothes the whole time.
At least there is a pool. At least she just doesn't show up to the house in a bikini for no reason. It's like the middle of winter.
Okay, but like every time this woman goes over to her boyfriend's house, it is immediately let's go into the pool and like bikinis. And I'm just saying, like, it got old after about the 10th time.
Well, she doesn't have a pool at her house, so she's using him for the pool.
That's exactly, their whole relationship revolves around the pool.
It's based on the pool. If that pool wasn't there, they wouldn't be together.
Yeah. And this camera really loves to like just zero in on Amber Heard's ass the whole time.
Well,
I wrote that in my.
It's not the camera's fault. She just happened to get out of the pool at that moment.
No, it's not the cinematographer's fault at all for framing his shot on her ass.
Amber, do you think you can tilt your back more in like a crooked thing? It really hurts to bend my ass up with it. Shut up.
Oh, I don't have the shot yet. Yeah, I wrote that in my notes. So the camera work is laughable. It's either that or the way they turn on the faces.
Well, let's be honest. Outside of the sexualization of Amber Heard, which takes a little work to make sure you're getting your shot correct, is that nobody on this project wanted to really do it. The studio wanted to remake this, so they just got competent enough actors, competent director, competent enough screenwriter, competent enough cinematographer and team, competent enough editor. Nobody had a passion for this. It was, I've been hired to do the best I can but no one has a love for what they're working on.
And was it really the best they could?
No.
No, it was the best they could given how much they wanted to work.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. But yeah, Amber Heard's terrible in this. And
she's terrible in everything.
I know she's terrible in everything, but like this especially was just like really bad. Like I've seen her in other things. Like I saw her in Drive Angry, and I thought she was terrible in that. But at least I'm like, well, it's Nicolas Cage. I mean, it's a Nicolas Cage movie. How bad can it be?
Well, how do you think she got Aquaman, sir? Johnny Depp throwing her under the bus.
Okay. Yeah, I get it. But I'm just making a point that I thought that it was in poor taste for the movie to constantly be like, yes, Amber Heard has to wear bikinis or some type of skimpy like sleepwear at all times.
Yeah, there's a point where she is in very, very tight panties.
And again, like I know I'm gonna get someone who's gonna be like, well, Brian, I think you're taking a little bit too literal.
Quit
here.
being so woke, bro.
Well, I'm also gonna go with
2009.
Yeah, this girl is also supposed to be in high school.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's true.
Maybe she's 18.
What was that?
Maybe she turned 18 before he turned 18.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. That's what Epstein said.
Wait, you don't mean the financier from New York, do you, Brian?
Yes, I do mean him.
What happened with him? Did I miss something?
You just blanked out. Whole thing. Anyway, getting back to this. So Michael is very distrustful of David, and immediately it starts to ramp up in terms of like David getting found out very quickly in this movie because the movie can't waste any time. So let's count through the number of ways that David could have been found out. First is the fucking cat lady who lives across the street, who happened to watch America's Most Wanted and see a picture. That picture, by the way, doesn't look anything like Dylan Walsh.
No.
Like I could have been like, what's the big worry? This looks nothing like you.
It reminds me of Cable Guy when, for people that haven't seen it, the Jim Carrey is the Cable Guy, like wears a disguise to go beat up
Owen Wilson,
who's dating like the guy he's stalking's girlfriend, and then they throw the image up on TV where people remember what he looked like at the restaurant. Looks nothing like Jim Carrey's character because he wore a disguise, just like Dylan Walsh in this movie. Yeah, and he's like, later he's showing the picture to Amber Heard, and he's like, look, can't you see it's him? She's like, the fuck, dude, we're gonna finish these college applications or what?
It's like, you can't go to college with me, and I'm gonna dump you for some guy who's a senior if you don't.
I thought we were gonna finish the college applications, do some cannonballs, do a little raw dog, and then I thought we were gonna do the 99 bananas I stole from my mom's house.
What? The 99 bananas.
That's on the 4K restoration Criterion collection.
Yeah, we don't have that version. Remember
that version?
You don't know what 99 bananas is, Brian? It's a cheap banana liqueur.
Oh, okay. I'm not an alcoholic. Sorry.
Hey, I'm still at least two steps. Three steps.
But anyway, yes. David ends up killing the old lady across the street in the most PG-13 way, right, Brad?
And let's not forget the wonderful cat jump that they threw in there.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Our audio only audience is going to be like, what the fuck is going on? What
cat just ran by.
Yeah.
You can't have a cat lady house without a cat jumping out of a cupboard
cat
or
jump.
something.
Yeah.
No. And a loud noise, like a loud percussion noise thrown in. But yes, he kills her just by throwing her down the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
And doesn't he beat her?
No, he just takes away her ability to breathe.
Yes.
Because she's like, she can't fight back. Like she's broken her arms or legs or something.
Yeah. This stepfather is less violent than previous stepfathers.
Well, I mean, so yeah, they hit a beat in the script, Brad, as you mentioned, and they went, okay, well, it's been a while. We need some kind of kill. It can't be a slow burn forever. So yeah, let's have the nosy neighbor and we'll kill her. But so that I can understand, Brian. The problem I have is that he didn't delete his fucking browser history.
Yeah, he's an idiot.
He's clearly he's a sociopath, but he's clearly never looked at pornography.
Like, and how did he make it this far?
Yeah,
I don't know how many we know of one family,
at least
for
two,
sure.
At least two families.
He is confused on his names towards the end, but how's he covering his tracks? He's not.
This is not the smartest stepfather in the bunch here. I
just screamed out. Yeah, when the son goes into a search engine, I'm assuming it was Google. I can't remember now. It might have been like a fake one. But he types in A and it goes, America's Most Wanted. And then slash the stepfather or whatever it said.
It is worth pointing out that, I mean, stepfather would be considered a boomer. And I mean, I have met some boomers and they don't know how to delete browser history, John. Like, they don't. Like, well, Brad, you're not a boomer, are you?
No.
You're a Gen Xer.
Yeah, I'm a Gen X.
Yeah, you're cool. John and I are millennials. We were born in technology.
Then here's my question. 09, like, high-speed internet's now a thing. Why didn't, if he's got the money, which he clearly does, to be doing all this carpentry in the basement, why the hell is he fucking around on his wife's family computer? Because that was still a thing then. Why didn't he just buy a laptop and be like, oh, well, I need to be able to work down here, honey, and occasionally I need to like look up like Lowe's real quick on the internet to make sure they have the type of wood I need for my carpentry projects. And that's where you search America's Most Wanted to see if you're still in the most wanted for some reason.
Brad, do you got a theory on that one?
I don't. I mean, he's just dumb.
He's
basically
he's an idiot. He's an inept stepfather.
And I don't know how he made it through multiple families. The families. I mean, April O'Neil didn't take her long to catch him in the act.
I mean, she's an investigative reporter in that universe.
This is so he becomes an under-the-table real estate thing. You have to pass a licensing exam to become a realtor, which requires identification.
Right there made no sense to me because, like, my mom actually was a real estate agent when I was a kid. And, like, it's a real thing. Like, you have to go through tests and you have to pass it to get your license, and it has to go to the state. And it's not something that you can just be like, there's background checks and all sorts of shit. So you cannot just be like, oh, wow, you have an honest face and you talk good. So
want to sell a house?
I'm going to give you cash. Here you go.
Yeah. Don't you want to get paid? It made no sense to me when they were like, oh, yes, he's clearly a real estate agent. And I know in the original he was a real estate agent, but I'm also going like, that one's obviously smarter. Like, he's figured out how to have like a fake social security number and documents and all sorts of shit. But this guy's an idiot.
Well, why not just have him have a bunch of fake IDs? Just have that be a talent he has. You know?
Or find a guy.
Then the script would have to have logic in it.
Yes.
We can't have that.
Yeah. Because it's like, oh, he always pays in cash and he hates to have his photo taken. And it's like, and I know that 2009 cameras on phones weren't the best, but like, you tell me nobody snapped a photo of this guy ever?
And it's not going to look very good. You'd have to be.
It's still going to be like him? 2 pixels.
I can't tell.
Yeah. I never understood that while they were like, oh, you can be a real estate agent. It's like, fuck you, no, he can't. April O'Neil, what the hell are you talking about? So what ends up happening next is the Susan's ex-husband kind of gets involved, and it's that guy that you probably don't know his name because I know his face, but I don't know his name. I'm looking for it right now. John Tenney, who had many roles, including the closer, and again, he's a guy that you would see his face and go like, oh yeah, I've seen that guy.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what I did in this movie. I was like, oh, it's that guy. I've seen him in things.
Yeah, he played Jimmy Wells in The Phantom. So like, you know, that guy who was like really annoying, trying to get with Kirsty Swanson, and you're like, dude, you're going up against The Phantom. You're not going to get anything with this. And yeah, it was that guy. So yes, But he plays Susan's ex-husband, who you kind of like, yeah, he's a piece of shit, but he's at least a good dad. Or at least he's trying to be. He's trying to be a good dad. But he quickly like does not like he doesn't like David at all. And ultimately a fight kind of breaks out later in the movie because the stepfather goes on one of his angry tirades early on in the movie when his wife is trying to tell, or not his wife, but his girlfriend, let's be honest here, is trying to tell her son to like keep his PlayStation down. And instead
as
of being as he should,
Brian, it's 09. This is what's a PS2. If they were as rich as they were, it should be a PS3. But
at that, yes, at 09, it's 03. It's a PlayStation 3. But the point is that instead of being like a human being and like, I don't know, saying, hey, can you turn down like the PlayStation, buddy? Like it's a little loud. He grabs the kid by the neck and then
forces him down.
Forces the volume down like a crazy person.
You guys act like you didn't have dads that smacked you around every once in a while.
I didn't. Oh, you're like, what's the big deal with that?
Yeah, I was like, that was just my childhood.
You're like, little shit should have turned down the volume.
Yeah.
If I wanted it loud, and he always said no.
But yeah, eventually the kid goes ahead and tells his dad like, hey, yeah, David did that, and it causes a big fucking fight that breaks out. Where like literally Michael has to like restrain his dad from like punching David in the face. And this kind of sets up that David's gonna kill the ex-husband, which he does.
Well, I didn't see that coming at all.
You didn't see that one coming?
No.
Well, I mean, it set it up that it was total like he was gonna be a dead body.
Yeah, I thought it was a mystery the whole time for me. I didn't see anything coming.
And this is the problem with the more elaborate of a backstory you tell, the more things people can look into. Just say, oh, when I was in college, I was focused on my academics. So therefore, I did not play a sport, or I was not on the debate team. I was not on anything that you could possibly call the registrar of the school. I
forgot he did all that
and looked all this up. Yeah.
I did this and this and this. I looked it all up, and they have no record of you.
Do any of that? He's like, yeah, it's funny. You weren't on the swim team. And your complexion was a little lighter than the other David that I did find, which I'm like, oh, okay, racism. Great.
Well, yeah,
chalk that up for the ex-husband being a piece of shit.
I got vitiligo.
Yeah.
But also, does the stepdad not have a driver's license?
No.
I guess not.
He must not. Like he does. Yeah. It's all cash. He drives illegally.
By the way, this really isn't making me really sympathetic to Susan at all. Like in this, because you decided, hey, I'm gonna get with this guy who has no license, has no social security card, whose job is traveling. He only pays in fucking cash. He doesn't like taking pictures of himself. Everything that screams this guy is a serial killer.
Yeah.
If he travels, how does he rent a car? How does he travel? How does he buy airline tickets?
Well, that's what they said. Like his job was before was he was doing some sort of traveling. I don't think he was traveling. I think it was just like
going to like a warehouse like Terrifier and beating off. Yeah, planning his next kill
with Art the Clown. Exactly.
Really great business trip, honey.
He seems
Why
like
do you smell like dust?
Yeah, he seems like he makes some nice cabinets though. Like his carpentry work.
He has really good cabinets, and it's so good that like that's where he puts all of the ex-husband's like belongings after he kills him. Is in the cabinet, and he starts this whole thing where it's really funny seeing 2009 cell phones being used, and you're just like, none of this would fucking fly nowadays.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's got, because he is trying to create the illusion that the ex-husband just took on a plane and left and kind of blew off the kids. He starts like texting Michael saying like, oh yeah, bud, I'm sorry I missed our meeting up with you. Oh, I checked into David. He's a good guy. I'm like, that's totally something that David would write in the text message pretending to be.
Oh, by the way, kiddo, you should probably tell your mom to let David do the butt. I have no way the stepfather calling from his phone because I killed him. Har, har, har. Winky face. No emoji because it's 09.
And then I don't turn the phone off when I'm not using it, so it rings.
Yeah. Or just even if you're too lazy to turn it all the way off, like put it on silent mode, bro. Pretend you're in the movies.
But we
had a
did
silent button.
We did establish he's an idiot.
He's an idiot. He really is. So Michael very quickly is starting to realize this guy is not really good news, and Amber Heard of course is like, you don't get it, like, you're just jealous of this, and do you want to go back to military school?
She's like, come on, babe, let's just go to the pool.
Let's go to the pool. Like, I
have the bikini on. Let's just go.
Yeah, fill out these college applications
at the pool.
At the pool. While I guess there's not a lot of clad.
Wind. Yeah, they gotta have a lot of paperweights for all these applications. They don't flow around into the goddamn neighbor's lawn.
Plus, like, applications aren't cheap, by the way. You have to pay each time to like submit an application. It's not free. Okay, like, I don't know what colleges he's going to, but like
community college.
Yeah.
He's going to Lee Harvey Oswald Community College.
He's going to the same college that April O'Neil went to for investigative journalism. But he kind of becomes very like paranoid, and he kind of convinces Amber Heard to kind of like be lookout for him while he tries to sneak into the cabinetry and find out what's going on. Right. And ultimately he discovers his dad's dead body in a freezer. And this is all the while the stepfather like literally grabs Amber Heard and also blocks off the entrance for him to escape from the basement.
Yeah. Which this family seems stupidly, except the oldest son, obviously, because we've been talking about, stupidly trust this guy. He should have just thrown like the dead actual father in the trunk and been like at 3 a.m, like, where are you going, honey? I'm going for cigarettes, but you don't smoke. I'm thinking about taking it up. So I'm going to go for a pack of cigarettes. I'll be back in 7 hours. And then the wife would be like, I'm just so happy now. I'm not going to question that at all.
I like when he pays off the taxi driver and then takes the luggage out.
Yeah. He takes the luggage out. And then on top of that, like, another of his kills is Paige Turco, who just kind of falls into her death.
Let's just okay. I got to break this down.
Break this down.
I have so many fucking questions. Okay,
this is where all his notes are.
This is she has 3 hours to catch an international flight. She has not packed yet.
No,
she has no rush to get to the fucking airport.
She's talking to her girlfriend. Is it a girlfriend or a wife?
I think that's her wife.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this is 2009.
Progressive. It's 2009. Progressive.
Progressive. Yeah.
Yes.
And she's like, yeah, something's off here. I'm going to take even more of a divergence from my fucking flight and go to, the mom's house. And then I'm going to get distracted in a thunder and lightning storm, which that
wasn't the mom's house, by the way. That was her house. Everybody's got a fucking pool.
Oh, okay. See, I just assumed it was the same pool.
It was probably the same set, but it looks very like, I thought that too. I was like, is that the mom's house? Did she end up going there? No, it's her house. But she had sent an email to the mom saying, hey, by the way,
he hacked in the email and saw it. Yeah.
Into the email. Yeah.
But yeah, she's like, okay, I got 3 hours to get on this plane. And so she goes into her own backyard. Yeah. And it is torrential downpour, thunder and lightning, not the best time to be near a giant open body of water. And it is an umbrella. It's not like her fucking phone fell into the pool and it's like, oh no, that's going to be broken. And she's just fishing for this motherfucker. And it's like, you have a fucking plane to catch. Text your neighbor and be like, hey, tomorrow morning when the weather subsides, you can go over in my backyard and get my fucking umbrella out of my fucking pool because I had to catch a plane that I was already going to miss. Oh my God. I'm glad she's dead.
Well, like literally go ahead.
This was the one shot. I was like, okay, at least this one shot of her going into the water, I was like, okay, he actually had one good shot in the film that I liked. But other than that,
it was a nice shot.
The
of
setup
like,
was
hey,
dumb,
yeah, but well, like she literally hung a sign on herself saying, "Hey, please kill me." Like by spending the extra minutes, as you said, John, she had 20 minutes, by the way, to catch the flight. 20 minutes. You are not getting through security in any sense of the word.
Well, 2009 maybe.
2009?
Maybe not.
This is 8 years
post
9/11.
Yeah.
Post 9/11? No, this is right at the time when you can't wear shoes.
You can't do anything.
No, you can't do anything.
They're dusting you in. Yeah.
Yeah. So she literally did hang a sign on her neck saying, "Please kill me, stepfather, because I'm going to spend my last remaining minutes not rushing to the airport, but fishing, yes, an umbrella out of the pool."
This is why she needed her yellow raincoat.
It's
if
true.
she had that,
if
she'd
only
still be alive.
Donatello and Raphael were around, stepfather would have been toast.
Well, see, during this whole scene, I expected Bruce Willis from Unbreakable to come in. He's like, I have to fight my fear of water and save her.
Yeah. But she dies very quickly out of stupidity. And yes, as I mentioned, we then get, Michael trying to break into the basement. And David also has kind of realized like, oh yeah, I've got to axe this family. So he does a weird thing that I didn't quite gather. I was like, okay, so before he's going to get rid of a family, he cancels the newspaper service to the house.
Which is going to happen instantly?
It doesn't.
No.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Like in 2009, it didn't happen. And honestly, like they would have been like, well, you're paying for the last month, buddy. Like,
yeah.
And I don't
you
know
have to
what
give us 30 days notice, and you still have 30 days worth of papers coming.
Yeah, he leaves the family in the house too. So like you would think that by the time there's 4 or 5 newspapers piled up, that he would have been long gone anyways, where people go, hey, let's go do a safety check. Let's call the police a wellness check over there. Yeah, he's already in, Sacramento or Tucson, Arizona, or wherever the fuck he's at now, But
yeah. But yes, him canceling the newspapers means like he's about to go do some murderings. He tries to drug Susan. I thought he was going to poison her.
I think the script didn't know what it wanted. I think he did roofie her, but then the script went, "Oh shit, we need her
alive.
We need her alive to come and fight him off."
Yeah. Although she doesn't really fight him off at all.
No,
she kind of just does the whole "I'm going to run and hide" thing.
Which this movie did the worst job of setup and payoff ever, because it keeps talking about the attic. Like, I'm working up in the attic. I'm working up in the attic.
He's gonna go work up there. Yeah.
And the thing is, like, the payoff is that he actually was working up there, but he knows where not to stand. I thought for sure that like the attic was going to be full of shrines of the other families or just something to go, whoa, creepy. But no, he just goes, haha, I'm the only one that knows not where to stand.
Haha. They needed to do that.
Yeah.
Which it would be like Get Out, like when he's like, hey, don't go in the basement. There's black mold. And then like, the hero that Get Out goes down there and he just sees a bunch of like actual mold on the walls. It's like, oh, darn it.
Yeah. No, I didn't think that far into it because I kept being like, this movie is so fucking dumb. But you are right. Like he spends a whole bit of time like I'm cutting things in the attic and all that fun shit. And yes, the fight kind of takes off where
Who runs into the attic, by the way?
Well, no one does.
Yeah.
The whole idea is like, okay, you could be like Anakin Skywalker and say I have the high ground. But Obi-Wan Kenobi, not Anakin. But like it doesn't really make any sense because you still have to like escape.
Yeah.
And you're not escaping that. If anything, you could have just gone out the front fucking door. Like anyone. Or locked his ass in the basement or some shit.
That would have been too easy.
Too easy. Yeah.
Too easy. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially because like this is not a super villain. This is a man. A very dumb man, honestly. Like
Yes.
I don't know why he wasn't even terrifying. I'm just like, oh, okay, like kick him in the balls.
Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't have any superpowers. This isn't Michael Myers. Just
No.
kick him in the nad.
It's not like Terry O'Quinn, who got shot in the second movie and he's like still up and trying to get you. Like
Peen hammer to the chest.
Yeah. Like you're fine. This is just a dude. Who's an idiot.
The more you make him angry, he seems like he would slipped up more and more.
Yeah, of course. So just tell him he has a small dick. Like just say you have a small dick. That would just made him angry. He would run through a window, out the window, and died. Or forgotten what board he was standing on in the attic. But yeah, the whole final like fight takes place, but basically between Michael and David. And I kept thinking to myself, I'm like, why the fuck isn't Michael just taking that crowbar he's got and just like smacking David in the face with it?
But also, shouldn't it be like the mom who is the one who was?
I mean, she did stab him in the
advantage
neck.
of. Yeah,
but stab him in the neck. Yeah,
but it's the final like. It shouldn't be Obi-Wan and Anakin, as you said. It should be Padme and Anakin.
Yeah.
You're breaking my heart.
You're breaking my heart. I thought we were gonna have a family.
I just wanted to be happy.
I just wanted to not go to Plenty of Fish. She would be better off going to Plenty of Fish.
At onlyfarmers.com.
Yeah. But the fight ultimately ends up being where both Michael and David fall off the fucking roof. And I'm going to call it right now. They'd be dead. Both of them.
They have that Mick Foley gene in them, where they can get up from anything.
You had to get a wrestling
hurting
reference.
pretty good. Hurting pretty good, if anything.
Hurting pretty good. So like in most PG-13 horror, there's really no like death at the end of this movie because most of these films end with like the villains getting killed to some degree, but this movie ends very much in a way where Michael wakes up from a coma about a month later and asks what the fuck happened to David, and we find out that they never found him because he's still alive.
Here's where I thought this was going to go. It was going to be like late at night, another thunderstorm, and then like, the doctor was going to come in and we don't see his face, and the nurse is going to be like, "Do you need anything else from me, doctor?" And he would take the mask and be like, "I have it from here, nurse." And like a lightning bolt would hit. It's like, oh, he's coming to finish out this little bastard.
That would have been a better ending.
That would have been a far better ending. Instead, we get Joe Dirt in the hardware store hitting on another woman
with a really bad wig.
Oh my God.
Apparently women are super into dudes who lost their wife and kids. Like, I'm so horny now because he had a horrific tragedy in his life.
But he has like a Ruby's costume wig on and mutton chops. Like, it looks
it's terrible.
Horrible.
And can we just take a moment to, like, I am no forensic pathologist here, but like, he would not give up on this family. He's not just going to go, shucks, lost that one.
Move on to the next one.
Move on to the next one. No, he's going to hunt this family down because he didn't succeed. Like, he probably couldn't even sleep. These fevered dreams of needing to kill this family.
Well, let's be honest here. I mean, the stepfather's MO has always been he wants the perfect family. And in this one, that's never really the whole reason why he does what he does. It is, I'm trying to cover my ass. Like, that's all it is. He's not like, I'm killing you all because you aren't the perfect family. Like, that was the whole reason why, like, him being a woodworker made sense, because a woodworker is crafting something out of nothing, and he looks at a family as like, I'm crafting the perfect family out of nothing, and that is entirely missing from this film. So it makes his whole like reason why he's killing families kind of moot, because he doesn't really care about that.
No, not at all.
No.
And how did he get a job at Lowe's without an ID and filling out paperwork
and looking like a man in a Joe Dirt costume?
Because well, Brad, because this is like 1912 when you could put a little sign up and this says like help wanted, and then you could just come in and grab the sign and be like, "Hey, I'm here, buddy. Put me to work, guy. I tell you what. See, you need me to sweep, you need me to cook. I'll do whatever you need." Well, I should ask you for some kind of ID, but you seem like a swell fella. How about we just do a handshake on this and call it even? You can have a cot next to the water heater. What's a water heater?
You have an honest face. That's what it would be.
Yeah. Yep, that's what it is.
You have an honest face.
You look like a good egg.
You look like a good egg. You don't have any scars, do you? No? Oh, you got all your teeth? Oh, good. Okay.
I do woodworking. You're hired.
You're hired. Oh.
You mean like our father, Christ. Good man.
You're a carpenter. Let me see your hands, boy.
Oh God. Yes, but Stepfather, before we get into reviews, I gotta tell you,
but
this is a slog to watch.
After the whole Joe Dirt ending, what about the absolutely terrible cover of Happy Together that starts the credits?
Thank you for mentioning that. Like, why not use the actual Happy Together? It would have been so much better. Because like how upbeat that song is, that would have been so much creepier instead of Happy Together.
But here's the thing. This is 2009. This is right at the tail end of nu metal. So I'm not surprised, but that ending track to the credits it perfectly encapsulates this movie, because Happy Together is a classic song. So, hey, let's have some fucking moron remake it into some horrible sounding piece of shit. And let's have that. Just like the movie is terrible, but its original source material was pretty damn fucking good. So I'm not surprised. It's like, hey, we got to have the end credits match the movie.
Yeah, as soon as that started playing, I was like, what is this?
I think I turned off the movie at that point. I was just like, oh, fuck this.
I actually stayed and listened.
Oh, you suffered through it?
Because I wanted to hear. I was like, is it really this bad? Yeah, I did.
I listened for about 30 seconds and I'm like, okay.
But you know what I mean? Like late 90s, early 2000s, that was what they did with movies. They had covers. Like, I'm immediately thinking of like Marilyn Manson's Sweet Dreams. Like, that's the same thing that they did in...
But Sweet Dreams was a good cover.
That's a good cover, yes. But this was the tail end of it. So, standards had kind of gone out the window.
I was going to look to see who did it, but I was like, that's too much work.
Do you want me to tell you? I can tell you.
Seems like a lot of Googling to do.
Yeah, I have IMDb up.
I'm sure it was Michael McDonald.
Michael McDonald.
So happy together.
That would be a better cover. But yeah, just I gotta tell you, before we get into reviews, I thought this movie was hot fucking garbage all around. I didn't find one redeeming quality in this movie.
The only thing that could have saved it is if, I don't know what the budget is. Let's just say the movie cost $30 million to make or something.
You're not off that far. It's $20 million.
20 million. Okay, take away 18 million. I want to see them make this for 2 million, and then I think it would be a lot more entertaining because they would just not have the budget or the ability or anything. And also, I know that in these movies, as a kind of a wrap before we get to these reviews, that the family has to be fairly rich so that you can build sets that look like giant houses, so you can get cameras in and out of the sets a lot more easy. But yeah. I'm like, these people are rich. I don't really give a shit. Like, that little brat's playing his video game so goddamn loud, and he's like a little rich kid. I'm like, maybe he needs to be grabbed by the neck, little fucker. No, he doesn't.
I think that's more of a modern take on wealthy people, where we're just like, we don't kill or care.
So according to the internet, that was filter. I don't think that was filter. No way. There's no way.
Oh, I mean, it fits.
For the time,
though.
yes.
For the time,
that definitely.
If you're doing a new metal cover, yeah, Filter, Disturbed. That's who you would go to.
Wow. I like Filter.
Brad's like, what the fuck, man? Okay, all right. Are you both ready to get to some reviews?
Let's do it.
Okay, so for our uninitiated, the review section of our podcast is where I go and I pull some reviews from Letterboxd or from you, the listener and or viewer. And if you want to get your reviews heard on the podcast, there is a really easy way to do it. Okay, join our newsletter. We have a newsletter that you can join. I put out calls of what movies we're going to be covering next before we actually go and record. So that gives you a perfect opportunity to drop your couple sentence review on what you thought of that movie, and then we will read them on the podcast. So join the newsletter. The link for it is in the description of this episode.
I get that newsletter, and look,
you got
I'm
that newsletter. You see it now.
Brian,
I was like, I want to give a full review of The Stepfather, so I need to come on the show instead.
There you
go.
Brian. If they're not reading the newsletter, what do we have next?
What do we have next?
Yeah.
Oh, geez. That's a good question. I don't know.
Oh, shoot. All right. Well,
what do I have next?
Yeah.
Give me a minute.
Yeah. Cue the Jeopardy music.
You asshole. You're asking me to Google shit.
So, John, what do you want to talk about next?
Yeah, what do you want to talk about next, you asshole? Because I'm in the middle of trying to find the thing.
I want to watch Paw Patrol, but the unrated version.
All right. This is actually a really good one.
Okay.
So next up, we are covering Masters of the Universe from 1987.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah,
Nice.
And we're doing the original film. So if you have any comments about the new one,
Yeah.
or more importantly, the original Dolph Lundgren one, I mean, who doesn't have an opinion on that? If you know Masters of the Universe, just write them down now. Don't wait for the newsletter.
Yeah.
Get them into us and let us know your thoughts.
But you should join the newsletter too.
You should, but in case you
should.
don't.
In case you don't. All right, let's get to our reviews. So our first review is, this was really a nice origin for Joe Goldberg. I see that he takes after his stepfather. Again, Joel Goldberg was the character from the show You.
Okay. I figured that was the person you mentioned
Okay.
earlier. Yeah, because I
Yes.
was a little lost there.
Yes, the character from the show You, Joe Goldberg. I gotta say, like, this movie, for all of its faults, it does fit in perfectly as a precursor to the show You. Like, you could easily plop this in, or clever people out there could find a fan edit of this movie easily within that series.
So you're saying this is like an extended universe?
Yes, I am saying it's
and this was a very popular review, 1,500 likes. I mean,
that is the reason why. I'm telling you, if you have not seen the show You, it is really good. Like, it's creepy as all fuck, and will make you never want to date anyone ever, like ever again. Like the stepfather, you can at least say like, oh yeah, Celia Ward was terrible, but like in the show You, like this guy's manipulating people like left and right, and it's pretty creepy. So, all right, let's go to review number 2. He wasn't even their stepfather. He was literally just some guy.
The wedding was set.
No, he's the fiance.
Yeah.
He's the fiance.
The boyfriend living in the home doing the carpentry work all around the house.
The boyfriend living there. Yeah, he was just the guy who was living there. He was the mom's boyfriend.
They could have called this the fiance.
The fiance. Mom's boyfriend.
Mom's top.
Mom's top. Oh, mom's bottom.
Oh, there's no way he's on bottom. He can't give up that control.
No,
In
maybe
fact,
that's the one time he does give up control, John.
He has 200 pumps without fail, and he counts them.
You're thinking of the original stepfather, John. That's the problem. That's something the original. We've talked about this before, where the stepfather literally just stands there like, yep, I'm having sex right now. I don't move. Like a dead fucking fish. But yeah, he's just a guy. Like this is kind of laughable that they made a whole movie called The Stepfather and he actually isn't the stepfather.
Yeah.
But all right, let's go to review number 3. They clearly put way more thought into Amber's bikini fit than the actual plot.
100% true.
100% true. There are way more thoughts in like, what bikini should Amber wear today, and how can we photograph it to accentuate her body in the most creepy fucking way possible than like, does plot point A lead to B lead to C?
Well, see, now that I found out that everybody that worked with her like said that she's just like so terrible, on every movie she's ever worked on. I would feel so bad that she probably showed up every day on set though. It's like, what am I wearing today? This. Do you think we can get a little areola in there? Like, oh, stop objectifying me. You know?
Yeah, so I'm just thinking, like, did someone on the set, like the script supervisor, say, like, she's supposed to be playing a 16 or 17-year-old girl?
I think that they always justify that, like, well, everyone knows the actress is 22.
Yeah, I get that, but in the movie world, she's 17.
But look at like a show like 90210. That's all about like high school age people.
And
like,
they're all 30.
sucking and fucking.
Yeah, but they play 30, and I get that, and I'm not. I don't think that was right either. Like, I'm just saying, like, when a movie, like, first of all, 90210, the only difference with that is that, like, they tried to make it like, oh, look at these beautiful teenagers, and like the whole story is them. Whereas this is like, the camera literally is hovering on this woman's ass for like a good 5 minutes.
I will say, I thought the stepfather was going to be much creepier in the kitchen with Amber Heard.
I thought so too. I thought that would, but this stepfather isn't a creep in that sense.
Right.
He is a creep.
It would have been
senses.
off. Yeah.
It would have honestly like betrayed his whole like family friendly image.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, because he even like has problems with the fact that Michael is in a relationship with Amber Heard. Like, it doesn't make any sense why he would have a problem with it, but he does, because in his mind, like, the family unit is keeping everyone wholesome and perfect.
Now, do you think the costume designer came up with all these outfits for this teenage girl, and they're like, no, we just want a bikini?
I think someone who's chomping on a cigar and had like 10 gold rings on his fingers, might have been buddies with Harvey Weinstein, said, oh yeah, you know what? The blonde, put her in a bikini and put her in the tightest underwear possible for bedtime, you know, and have that be a scene.
Yeah, look at that petite little bitch. Yeah, get her wet.
It's just
hose her down.
Can we set this by the pool, please?
Yeah, please set this by the pool. She is always by the pool. It just felt gross. It just felt gross to me. All right, and our final review of the episode. Everyone's just giving out personal info on the first meeting like it's nothing.
we were babies in 2009, okay?
You want to get pizza?
You want to get pizza? Yeah. Hi, strange man. I just met in the cookie aisle. Do you want to get pizza? Because you have an honest face.
With my young child and we're going to have pizza. Come with us.
Well, when I used to, not do the drive-thru, when I used to walk into McDonald's, I used to show them all my prescription medications before I got my nuggies,
Well, you know what? I would just go into the CVS, John, and I would, while I'm paying for something at the cash register, tell them all about, like, my childhood and fears and terrors and aspirations and goals and all that stuff, while I'm literally signing the receipt, at the end of the day.
Maybe everybody's in the liar universe. Actually, Your Honor, I'm dealing with a bizarre sexual incident I had last night.
Yeah, but it's again, the script in this is terrible, and just this point especially kind of really hits the home. Like, everyone is just so much like, I'm going to tell you everything on the first meeting, and then we're going to, become boyfriend, girlfriend, and eventually in 6 months' time, you and I are going to get engaged. Gross.
And then we're going to do it later at Lowe's with a bad wig.
Yes. Looking like fucking Joe Dirt.
Hey, there's only so many times you can use hair dye before your hair falls out.
Well, maybe he's bald. Maybe that's it.
He just shaved his head or something for one of these goes.
Yeah. So before we kind of get final thoughts on Stepfather, Brad, what's going on with you and your podcast? Anything new happening with you?
Well, right now, Tomb of Terrors, I'm doing a lot actually over there, sometimes too much. But I decided to do an entire year series where I'm going through a discography of Paul Naschy, a 70s, 80s Spanish actor, director, writer. And I decided, you know what, through the year, I'm going to do 20 plus movies of his through all of my channels. And it's been a ride. It's been fun. It's been real fun. But
oh, cool. Very cool.
And I just did a episode with my wife. We do a series. She comes on the show. We do a series called Versus, where we do the original film and the remake, and we pit them against each other. We just had one for Carrie.
Oh, cool.
And when I was coming on this, I was like, told her, I was like, well, we could do Stepfather, but I don't know if I want to rewatch this one.
No, you gotta do the original 3, and just avoid this one altogether. You don't need to do it.
This one, you'll probably, because it's bad, you'll probably forget some of the details. But honestly, if you just went on the IMDb synopsis, you'd probably be like, "Oh yeah, that happened."
Yeah,
you know, and it would all come back.
Yeah. So, final thoughts on Stepfather before we close this one out. Brad, you're the guest. Start with you.
As this is my first Stepfather film, I know that there's nowhere to go but up.
Very true.
So, you know, when I get to the others, at least I'm excited that I'm like, I have a feeling they're better. From everything I've heard, they're better.
They are. They are.
This is just, I mean, like I said at the beginning, this is like a Lifetime movie, or this would be a Tubi original now. Like it's nothing against Tubi. I love Tubi. Tubi does have some good stuff, but this is kind of like one of those, they have those Lifetime type films that this would fit into that. I think they might have a Stepfather film on there with Taye Diggs, I think.
That sounds about right.
Which could be your next one.
No. I think we're doing Father's Day next. I think that's what's going to end up being. John, what about you? What are your final thoughts on the Stepfather now that we're closing out the series and closing out this one?
Yeah, I would say that it's a little unfortunately soulless, but it was one of those things that I had no expectations going into this that it was going to be of any quality whatsoever. And like, if you go into that and like, if you know about films and you kind of start breaking down like some of the plot holes in it while you're watching it, that's kind of enjoyable. I would stay as far away from this if you're like, I want to watch a good horror movie. I'm going to put 2009's The Stepfather on. You're going to have a bad time.
You're going to have a bad time.
So yeah, go in it with the enjoyment of breaking down just ridiculous plot holes and logic holes and all that good stuff. Then you might have a good time.
I just go with avoid this one altogether. Stick with the original 3. The third one's the least enjoyable out of the original series,
but it's the craziest one.
It's the most fun. And it's one of my favorites just because of how ridiculous and over top it is. But this one was just really really depressing to watch and see this series like hit I would say the bottom of what is even a movie. Like I really, this was a fast movie, so I guess there's that. But it just lacked any soul. And like movies from this time period where they were remaking literally all of the classic characters, they were all this type of like soulless film.
If you've seen the Prom Night remake that the same director did, it is the same type of thing where it's just like, why?
Yeah. And you're just literally like, this is a cash grab. So that there close out the Stepfather. It also closes out episode 400.
Insert cheers.
Insert cheers.
Well, I'm honored that I am on episode 400. And congratulations for,
thank you.
We're honored to have you, old man.
Old man Brad. So with that, old man Brad, where can they find you at on the internet?
Just search for Tomb of Terrors. I have a newer Instagram account and, over on YouTube and Blue Sky mostly. But Blue Sky, it's Old Man Brad. But Blue Sky and Instagram are my two places that I do most of the stuff.
John, where can they find you on the internet?
I just want to take a moment to say that I love that you're on Blue Sky, which is like the newest social media, and your name's Old Man Brad.
Yeah.
But over obviously at Facebook, Instagram, but I dust the off my shoulders and got recorded my ladybugs. Sorry, I want to say sidekicks.
You recorded your ladybugs.
I was thinking Jonathan Brandis, and I'm like, I didn't record my ladybugs episode. And I'm looking to get back in the groove of things. After that, I'm looking for a Wedding Crashers check-in, a Truman Show in Pleasantville. So many questions. So, looking into getting into J-Dub summer here.
Nice. Of course, if you love this episode, please do me a favor and share it. Share it with your friends. Share it with your family. Share it with your stepdad. He might enjoy it. And of course, please do me a favor and follow us on your favorite podcast apps of choice. You can go to cinemapsychoshow.com/follow. You can follow us. We got buttons right there, and you can never miss an episode by doing that. And of course, if you're watching us here on YouTube or Spotify, because we got Spotify video, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, hit that little bell, and let us know down in the comments, what did you think of The Stepfather from 2009? And with that said, we will see you next time.
Go chop that fucking firewood.